Hello, every pony. My name is Blancmark, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. We are in our camp, right after leaving Lovering, where we spent the majority of last episode, or all of last episode actually. And a lot of things happened for such a small, generally uneventful little town. We had a few side quests. We recruited a couple of new party members in Leliana and Sten. Alistair is still with us, as is Morgan over there. She likes to be alone. And we met Bodan Fedek and his son Sandal um, near the end of the rear exit, basically the northern exit of Lovering as well. And we encountered them in camp, and we allowed them to stay. So they'll be traveling with us. Bodan has a couple of things to sell. Things for sale, I should say. To sell, for sale, English, difficult. And we'll be using his services quite a bit. Sandal can use the runes that we've gathered to infuse weapons with them. As you can see here, Alistair has a lightning sword, which is one of the runes that we had is now on this special sword that he got as a reward from one of the quests there. We also have Good Boy here, of course. Our dog keeping watch, the entrance of camp. Bork, bork.
Oh, why, you little...
Did you jump at the sight of your own shadow again? Are you harassing my dog? What? What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
That's kind of your own fault. Well, he is a war dog.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Yeah, yeah.
I once heard a really old legend about how the hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Stop harassing my dog. Don't listen to Alistair. He's full of rubbish. I'd never feed you another human being.
It's not cannibalism if he's eating it, you know.
Shut up, dude. Stop harassing.
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
Can't be stinkier than what normally goes into them. Why doesn't he share his food with me? I really don't like her. I really don't like her. She's just such a bitch.
I am going to pretend I never heard that. The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
It was a gift. You can't just throw it away like that.
I just did. I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
Urge to kill rising.
Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
At least he's nice. Grr.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Even Sten is nice. Yes. Tick, 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 tick. All right, have fun then. You're such a good boy. Good boy. Pet. Pet, 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 pet. You're such a good boy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Why are you such a bitch? My God. I should have a conversation with her, but I really, 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 really don't want to. I'll talk to... This is going to be a conversation-heavy part of the episode, guys, so strap in.
What do you need? You don't have to do that.
Want to talk about
I know
Duncan?
you didn't know him as long as I did.
That doesn't mean I don't mourn his loss.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
Well, he had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
He saved your life by sending you to the tower.
Yes, I know. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Dwarves don't practice cremation, do they? How do your people honor your dead?
We entomb our dead within the stone beneath our taigs.
I heard about that, now that I think about it. Their spirits return to the rock, strengthening the foundation of the Taig. It sounds so strange.
Well, no stranger than burning your honored dead to ashes.
I suppose you're right. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime.
What do you need? Ask away. Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
Uh-huh. That would explain the breath.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on the cold, hard ground, isn't it? Are you having strange dreams?
Yes, they all involve strangling you. Only the ones where the world is being threatened by the Darkspawn.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Well, why? Why did he?
Arleman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, the new Arlessa resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
Wow, what a bitch. Sounds like an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Isle came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Well, alright, I suppose.
What do you need? Ask away.
Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
You don't even have a Templar heavy plate. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you wearing it.
I keep it hidden under my pillow. Sometimes I'll take it out just so I can hug it fondly and remember the good old days. Brings a tear to the eyes, you know.
So this is where you deflect questions with humor, right?
I'd use my shield if I could, but I think you might actually spot me hiding behind it. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
Make up something more exciting. I don't know.
You know, I like the way you think. But I guess if you're really curious, there's no harm in obliging. I have a couple of interesting looking Mongs I can show you later too, if you're interested. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Huh. Not anymore, no. I mean, Orzammar is my home, but I I don't think I really felt attached to it. I was in a shitty situation, and now I'm out of it. I mean, there's Rika there, so I do kind of want to go back to her, but as far as my home goes, no, I don't feel like Orzammar is my home. Not really.
We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Although that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
They can be rebuilt.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost.
Of course not.
I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
You mean resting? Alright.
What do you need? Ask away.
What can a Templar do, exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So Templars use magic themselves?
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
So you couldn't others learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
Huh. So you were addicted to this
Thankfully,
lyrium?
no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Quite a lot of lies and shenanigans going on there with the Templars, it seems. Apparently lyrium is not even needed.
What do you need?
Hmm.
Ask away. I suppose I could. But I really would rather not. When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word. Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
No, I mean,
What do you need?
that's fine. Besides, I've already unlocked the Templar specialization. I've unlocked all of them, actually. In previous playthroughs, so it's not really an issue.
Ask away.
Uh,
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
that's how I became a Grey Warden, and you too, but sure. Very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did she want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
Alright then,
What do you need?
but not really.
Ask away.
Grey Wardens.
Such as they are. That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Not very effective. Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
Fun. Well, we need to start rebuilding the order.
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
So what happens now? It's just the two of us.
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, It's up to us.
Huh. What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left for Eldon? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Alright, and that was some conversations with Alistair here. As I said, it's going to be a very conversation-heavy episode. A few notes. I've also turned down the graphics to medium, going from high and very high to medium, as I have read that it is possible that it may reduce or even eliminate the crashes upon loading into a new area, so I've been trying that. And funnily enough, the game is so old, I guess, at this point, in 2009, that the game actually doesn't look all that much worse on medium than it does on high or very high. I barely spot a difference when I was just looking at the character models, and I was just like standing between these two here, like standing here, basically just like, you know, let's see how different they look. They look exactly the same on both settings. So I don't know. So this might actually help stabilize the game. Oh, it looks less nice. Well, it looks fine to me. That whole, I mean, the texture underneath here is a bit weird, but other than that, it's been fine. That 4 GB patch really helped a lot. I guess we can have our first conversation ever with Liliana now. Oh my goodness. Well, I should better save them that I don't lose that particular progress. Alright, here we go.
Yes?
I think you should go. I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
That vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell. And the darkness drew me in.
Huh. You dreamed of the blight?
I suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
Huh. I need your maker interfering in my life. This made you want to help me?
In my dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop. Yes?
I like her voice. They really picked the right voice actress for her. Like, you know, half English, half like. I can hear some English in there, but I can definitely hear the French accent as well.
Well, here I am.
And she is from Orlais, so that makes sense. What would someone like you? What would someone like you be doing in Lovering's Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
They don't teach you how to fight in the cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
Affirmed?
We affirm our belief in the Maker, in Andraste and the Chant, but other than that, there are no vows taken.
So what did you do before before that?
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Very sus.
Yes?
She did not want to talk about it.
Well, here I am.
What was life like in the Chantry cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Yeah, they tend to be self-righteous.
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
Prefer your ideas to your ideas to the ideas of the Chantry.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
I mean, it's a good outlook to have.
Yes? Well, here I am.
Organized religion is not for me either, the person playing this, but that's just me. You are a traveling minstrel. Do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Alright. Tell me about Darkspawn.
Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy
sorry.
telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
That sounds interesting.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield a sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot. Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered. Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
Huh. That's terrible.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
I see. What about Ferelden legends?
I know one, told to me by my mother a long time ago. It always chilled me to the bone. Maybe you have heard of Flemeth?
Yeah, Morgan's mother was called Flemeth.
Are you sure? Was she the Flemeth of legend? Flemeth,
I
the
don't know about
devoured
that,
men.
but
Flemeth, mother of witches. Flemeth, demon-touched, who dwells in the mists.
well, she didn't really introduce herself as such.
Ferelden mothers scare their daughters with talk of Flemeth. They say that if you're bad, Flemeth will spirit you away and bind you to her forever. They also say that Flemeth mourns her lost beauty and will steal yours through your looking glass if she catches you.
Tell me the whole story.
Flemeth's beauty was known throughout the land. She had hair like unto a moonless night, skin as pale as winter's first snow, and eyes as beautiful and perilous as the sea. When she came of age, she came to the attention of the Lord of Highever, Conobar, and he took her for his wife. Conobar soon learned that his young bride had the gift of magic. He kept this a secret, for he feared that she would be taken from him. Flemeth stayed with Conobar for some years, and with his blessing, she practiced her art. And then one day, a young poet named Osen came to the castle. Flemeth was captivated by Osen's voice, and he by her beauty, and they fell in love.
What happened then?
Flemeth longed to be with her true love, and she and Osen fled from Conobar's lands, seeking refuge in the Kokari wilds with the Chasing tribes. They lived there happily for many a year, till the day Flemeth received news that Conobar was dying and longed to see her face one last time. Flemeth's heart swelled with pity for the man who once was her husband, and begged Osen to return to Conobar's side with her. But when Flemeth and Osen entered Highever, they were captured by Conobar's men, and Osen was slain in front of Flemeth's eyes. Flemeth was imprisoned in the highest tower of the castle, there to await Conobar's judgment on her. Distraught at the loss of her love, Flemeth plotted revenge against her husband. She summoned a fey demon, intending for it to wreak vengeance on Conobar. But a spell went awry. The demon possessed Flemeth. Turning her into an abomination, the halls of the castle ran red with blood as Flemeth slaughtered Conobar and all his men. The last of Flemeth's humanity melted away, and at dawn, she stole back to the wilds to plot and scheme for 100 years. They say she took to her side many Chasing men, and with their help, begat her daughter witches, who even now prowl the dark places of the Kokari wilds.
Huh.
Which one?
Dalish.
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the dales in the south, and settled there in a land of their own. The elves lived in the Dells for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a holy exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
What do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
How did Andraste die?
Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathos, the capital of Tevinter.
But Tevinter has a chantry, doesn't it?
The Tevinter chantry claims that in Andraste's last moments, Hysarian's heart softened, and he heard the voice of the Maker telling him to end her suffering. He plunged his sword into her heart, and as her blood washed over his hands, he became one of the faithful. Dissenters said that the Archon only converted because he could not stem the tide of Andraste's cult, and was forced to do so to stay in power. We will never know for sure.
Alright. I guess that's the last we can currently do
Yes?
with
Well, here I am.
Liliana. Of course, when her trust basically goes up, then her approval rate, then we can probably ask more, and she will probably reveal more and more about herself. Same with Alistair and everyone else. Now we're going to talk to Sten here, who is a Qunari, and as a Qunari, he's kind of weird. Also, if I seem a little bit out of it, I'm just letting these characters have their moments. There's not a whole lot I can interject with when these characters are just talking. And it's a bit long, so, you know. I don't really have a lot to say. Plus, I should honestly be asleep right now, but I am suffering from brain flop, apparently. What's it called? Insomnia, that's it. Yeah, so it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens sometimes. I just went to bed, I slept for an hour, and I was awake, and now I'm wide awake, and I can't fall asleep again. So that means I'll probably have to sleep later after I have my Dungeons and Dragons session later today, in about 3.5 hours. And then I'll probably have to sleep after. The whole session is probably only 2 or 3 hours long anyway, so I guess I'll do that. However, Yeah, it might suck near the end of that session. Sometimes it happens, and you know, I don't like it either. But well, what can you do? I can either lay there in bed and hope I fall asleep, which I probably don't, and kind of waste a bit of time, or I can just make myself useful and record one of these videos for you. So I think I'll just do that. I'd rather do that. So, with all of that said and done, let's have a conversation with our new Kunari ally, Sten.
Why are we stopping?
Let's see.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Are you alright? You were in that cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
Good to hear. You said you were in the army.
I am.
Why would the Kunari send soldiers here?
The Antam are the eyes, hands, and mouth of the Kunari. We are how my people know the world.
I've never seen a Kunari, but have you ever fought in a war? Well, he's a soldier, so probably.
I have always fought in war, dwarf.
So you must know your way around a battlefield.
Some of them. They aren't all alike.
That's true. I've never seen a Kunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
No. Please? Why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Alright,
As you wish.
fair enough.
Yes.
Sten is a bit of a difficult guy to talk to, so if you press the issue, he'll probably just be all like, well, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you, and you lose approval rating with him, so often it's just better to just say nothing. What were you doing in a cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
That's not what I meant.
It's what you asked.
True. Are you going to answer my question?
I did. Parshera. Was there anything else?
Bleh.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to
To
Ferelden?
answer a question.
What was the question?
The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What is an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
He's your king? Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Why would the Kunari care about the Blight?
Why do you?
It's a threat to Orzammar.
Is it? If the Darkspawn are attacking Ferelden, doesn't that mean there are fewer preying on your own people? Don't strain yourself pondering that. I do not know why the Arishok sent us. He commands and I go.
Do you not have...
A portion of it?
Okay, so... Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Well, you can stay with us then.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
Let's go.
As you wish.
I think if you press it then... Oh, I got a +9 approval rating. Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot. For Sten, that's a lot.
I am hardly surprised. Very well. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. As you wish.
He's not very forthcoming. We need a much higher approval rating. But he will eventually tell us what he was actually doing in that cage. what actually happened, why he He never actually told us why he killed the family. Just confessed that he did, but he never actually told us why. But he will, eventually. We just need a higher approval rating. Now, I could, of course, buy the feast day gifts from Bodan here and force the issue and get them all up to, like, max and have them tell us everything, but I'm not going to do that for now. I may do that later, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's talk to my least favorite party member, Morrigan.
What do you wish of me? If you must. Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Good if you wanted to. It's my favorite way of annoying you. I don't remember what to say. I want to say this, let's be honest. I want to say this. You could if you wanted to.
Oh, what luck. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
You remain unnoticed?
For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
I'm supposed to be surprised you're a good liar. That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Her voice cracks when she says touching. You mean like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Guess the joke's on you then. Well, I'm glad it worked out this way at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Well, at least she was kind of nice enough to at least acknowledge, but she has to just get a little, like, snide comment in there. She just has to be a bitch.
What do you wish of me?
I want you to fuck off.
If you must.
Let's see. Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes. By Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
Huh. I feel sorry for the Templars.
They came with as much swagger and arrogance as they did self-righteousness. Pity them if you wish, for they held none for us. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
She
It
used
was
you
a
as
game,
bait.
and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you still think that was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
Well, I do come from the Undercity, from the Undercommons, so I mean, I was forced to do anything and everything I could to survive, so yeah.
Oh? I would ask what exactly, but I'm certain that would be a lengthy conversation, and suddenly I grow very weary. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Disapproves 8. Because I said that there are worse things than death. Wow. See, what a bitch. That sounds like, yeah. I mean, I was like, yeah, I come from the Undercity. Survival is important. And now she hates me for it? What a cunt. See, this is why I don't like her.
What do you wish of me?
Again, just...
If you
she's
must.
a bitch, and then she does this sort of shit. Like,
Well, that depends.
how
does
the
it
hell
not?
am I... That makes
What
no
does she
sense.
seem to be?
That doesn't make any sense, nutty old bat.
Sometimes I do wonder the very same thing. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
Well, I just heard Liliana tell it, so I don't know. I'm more interested in the truth.
I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
I mean, sure.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago is this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed. The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge. That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see. Chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Which she never invaded, or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
You believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has coloured her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
Huh. I see. How is it that Flemeth survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters.
You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
Lovely. Aren't abominations usually insane horrors?
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
Or maybe she just doesn't want to tell us. Interesting story, thanks.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
My mom's a bitch. She's a useless drunk, if you must know.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
Good. Well, at least I earned
What do you
some of
wish
the
of me?
approval back. That was such a stupid thing to lose approval over.
If you must.
That's why I don't like these kind of characters that are written in such a way where it's like you say something like that makes sense, and then it's like, oh no, she takes great offense, and now you lose 8 or 9 like approval. That makes no sense. I don't like that. Some characters are very difficult in that regard. And I'll accept it from like Kunari and such. Like, okay, sure, they're weird. I will accept it from them, but from her, no.
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The Chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mom's been doing this for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
You spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do the other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
So you can't understand them. I see. Interesting. Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Well, I don't know. You can still learn from other humans. I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
So, that's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not exactly adept at magic. Probably even less than most.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Why are you so confrontational? Don't like that. Why are you so confrontational? I think your abilities sound quite useful.
A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed lest the dust gather on us.
Alright.
What do you wish of me?
Personal question.
We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Why are you still here?
I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
No, I don't want you to leave.
Then I assume our discussion ends here.
-10. See, I'm just like asking, and it's like, oh, do you want me to leave? No, I don't want you to leave. Then shut the fuck up. See, that's why I don't like her. She's such a bitch. You can't have a normal conversation with her. Plus, I don't really remember all of the things you're supposed to say to her. But as you can see, it's very easy to just offend her, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's the thing. She's a bitch to everybody, but when you're even slightly saying something she doesn't like, even if you don't intend to, she just like, oh well, fuck you too then. See, that's why I don't care for her. Like, I just lost all the points I gained with her. So now this guy's last.
You're a hard woman to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader?
No, I'm Kalana. I've never heard of you.
Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for
No,
years.
not
But
really.
here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
Alright, so what promised... How did you know Duncan?
It's a bit of a tale, that is. But I'm the one who brought the Grey Wardens back to Ferelden. Well, I was one of the ones. There were a lot of us. Maker's breath, I'm a bit nervous. Honoured to be here, really.
It's fine. Just go ahead and tell your tale.
After King Marek freed us from the Orlesians, the Grey Wardens begged the King's permission to come into Ferelden, some sort of internal business. Me and a mess of other Warden sympathisers spoke on behalf of your order. Tan Loghain was very much against letting Orlesian Wardens in the kingdom, but Marek, Andraste, bless him, was a fair-minded monarch and he let them in.
I'm listening.
So that's why I was there when the Wardens and their leader, Genevieve, presented herself to the King. The first Wardens in Ferelden in over a century. Proudest day of my life, that was. Duncan was a bit of a scamp back then. We were of an age and struck up a friendship. The King himself went with the Wardens on their mysterious business. When he returned, he rescinded King Ardland's decree, and the Wardens came back to Ferelden for good.
Why were the Grey Wardens cast out by Arland?
People say it's because the Wardens have become terribly unpopular. Just soaking up ties and not doing a bleeding thing for the kingdom. I say that's bollocks, as recent events have shown.
I mean, we do our best. So Marek just rescinded the decree, just like that.
Marek was a bit of a visionary. A powerful mind, that one. In his travels with the Wardens, he must have seen how important their cause was, and been moved by it.
I mean, probably. Doubt that's the full story.
Ferelden was ravaged by war, and your dwarven cousins, well, they had a proper appreciation of Wardens. But make no mistake, King Marek was a giant among men.
Well, Duncan was an easy man to like.
That he was.
Thank you for for your part in bringing the Wardens here.
Oh, his stomach's all aflutter. You're welcome.
No, I like him. What promise did Duncan make to you?
My family, well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
What happened next?
Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one, and our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
I see. Surprised you kept your name.
Our family's only crime was guarding the kingdom against the Blight. We're not ashamed of that.
So, what favor did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honor.
Well, couldn't you just go there by yourself?
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Ireland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honor.
Well, I mean, why didn't he help you? He probably died.
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got
Oh,
plenty busy
was
recruiting
recruiting.
new wardens and meeting with good King Kalen.
That's before he
Duncan
died.
said he would help after the Battle of Ostergar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
Oh, that sucks. What do you need from me?
I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least?
I mean, how will it reclaim?
Soldier's Peak is
how will it reclaim
strategic
help
and
the
symbolic
Wardens?
importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now.
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I will help you.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Okay. So Mr. Dryden has left, which is the Soldier's Peak DLC that I have installed. Van Loren, there's another one there, and Soldier's Pass. Don't remember what this one was, but... And I believe that concludes all of the things we have to do at camp. My goodness, I friggin' hate Morgan so much. There she is. I really can't stand her. She's such a bitch, and so yeah, this has been a pretty long episode because it was a lot of talking. While I could continue, I think this is a good time to call the video here. A bit of, hopefully a little bit shorter than usual. Just a little bit of a self-contained camp talk to everyone episode, and then the next one we'll go back on the road and hopefully find something to do, some quests to do, some darkspawn to kill, etc, etc. So until then, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. I should go prepare for the long journey ahead.